In the last class, we were discussing oscillations. You are supposed to know what is meant by simple harmonic motion, differential equation of simple harmonic motion, and its solution. Coming to the essay damped harmonic oscillator, the first point that you should remember is to give a definition for damped harmonic oscillations. Second point should be the forces acting on a damped harmonic oscillator, that is the restoring force minus Cx and the damping force minus gamma into dx by dt. Here capital C is the force constant and gamma is the damping coefficient. As next point, you should write the force equation for a damped harmonic oscillator. After dividing this equation throughout by m, you should give substitutions for gamma by m as 2k and for c by m omega 0 square. Here k is called the damping constant and omega 0 is called the natural angular frequency of the oscillator. On substituting the values, you get the differential equation of a damped harmonic oscillator as t squared x by dt square plus 2k into dx by dt plus omega 0 squared x is equal to 0. This essay is divided into three parts. In the first part, you are deriving the differential equation for the damped harmonic oscillator. In the second part, you have to obtain a solution for this differential equation. We are assuming a solution of the form x is equal to a into e raised to alpha t, where capital A and alpha are constants. Then you find dx by dt and d squared x by dt square. Substitute the values of d squared x by dt square, dx by dt and x in the differential equation. On substituting the values and simplifying, you will get the value of alpha. Values of alpha are minus k plus root of k squared minus omega 0 square, and the second value is minus k minus root of k square minus omega 0 square. So you will get two values of alpha, alpha 1 and alpha 2. So the general solution can now be written as x is equal to a1 into e raised to alpha 1 into t plus a2 into e raised to alpha 2 into t. On substituting the values of alpha 1 and alpha 2, the general solution can be written like this. Here a1 and a2 are constants. In order to find the constants a1 and a2, we are using two boundary conditions. First one is at time t is equal to 0, x is equal to a, and also at x is equal to a, velocity v is equal to 0. For exam, you just write that on applying the boundary conditions, you will get the value of a1 as a by 2 into 1 plus a by root of a squared minus omega 0 square, and a2 as a by 2 into 1 minus k by root of k squared minus omega 0 square. So on substituting the values of a1 and a2, we will get the complete solution of a damped harmonic oscillator. In the third part of the essay, we are going to discuss the different cases of damping, that is the over-damped case, critically damped case and under-damped case. If the damping constant K is very large when compared to the natural angular frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator, then such a case is called the over-damped case. In critically damped case, K is equal to omega 0. Whereas in under-damped case, the damping constant is very small when compared to the natural angular frequency of the oscillator. The figure shows the graphical representation of the variation of displacement with time in the three cases. Overdamped case is represented by this curve denoted as 1. Now the critically damped case is represented by this curve denoted as 2, and the underdamped case, the third case, is represented by this curve. You can clearly see that only for the third case, that is the underdamped case, there is oscillatory motion, whereas for the first case and the second case, that is the overdamped case and the critically damped case, there isn't any oscillatory motion. Now we are going to discuss each case one by one. The first case that I am going to discuss is the underdamped case. Hope you are familiar with this equation. It represents the complete solution of a damped harmonic oscillator. In this equation, if you take e raised to minus kt as a common factor from both these terms, you can write the equation as x is equal to e raised to minus kt into a1 into e raised to root of k squared minus omega 0 square into t plus a2 into e raised to minus root of k squared minus omega 0 square into t. Put this equation as 4. Using this equation, we are going to discuss the underdamped case. In underdamped case, the damping constant K is very small compared to omega 0, the natural angular frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator. Here, since K is very small compared to omega 0, the term root of K squared minus omega 0 square can also be written like this, taking the minus side outside. That is a root minus of omega 0 square minus K square. Now instead of root of minus 1 you put I, and for root of omega 0 square minus k square you write omega. So you are making two substitutions here, that is I is equal to root of minus 1 and omega is equal to root of omega 0 square minus k square. So for underdamped case, since k is much less than omega 0, the term root of k squared minus omega 0 square can be written as I omega, where omega is root of omega 0 square minus k square. Here, omega is called the angular frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator, whereas omega 0, it is the natural angular frequency of the oscillator in the absence of any dissipative forces. Omega, it is the angular frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator, or simply it is also called the damping frequency. So you can see that this omega, it will always be less than omega 0. Since omega is equal to root of omega 0 square minus k square, the damping frequency, it will always be less than the natural frequency of the oscillator. Now in this equation 3, which represents the complete solution of a damped harmonic oscillator, instead of these terms root of k squared minus omega 0 square, you substitute the value I omega. Therefore, the equation becomes x is equal to e raised to minus kt a1 into e raised to I omega into t plus a2 into e raised to minus I omega into t. Hope you remember the expansion of e raised to I theta, which you had studied in your maths classes. That is, e raised to I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So here too, instead of e raised to I omega t, you can write cos omega t plus I sin omega t. And here instead of e raised to minus I omega t, you can write cos omega t minus I sin omega t. Now taking cos omega t as a common factor, you can write a1 plus a2 into cos omega t. We have two terms with cos omega t, that is a1 cos omega t and a2 cos omega t. So you can write a1 plus a2 into cos omega t. Now there are two terms containing sin omega t. So taking I sin omega t as common factor, you can write I sin omega t into a1 minus a2. Here, since x being a real quantity, both these terms on the right hand side, it should also be real. That it implies that a1 plus a2 should be real. Also, I into a1 minus a2, it should also be real. For that, a1 and a2 must be complex quantities. So here we have represented a1 and a2 as two complex quantities. Here a1 is a0 by 2 into sine phi minus I cos phi, and A2 as A0 by 2 into sine phi plus I cos phi. So now if you take A1 plus A2, here I cos phi minus I cos phi, it will cancel out, and A0 by 2 plus A0 by 2 into sine phi, it becomes A0 sine phi. Similarly, A1 minus A2, you will get minus I A0 cos phi. So instead of A1 plus A2, we can write A0 sine phi, and for I into A1 minus A2, you have to multiply I to this equation. So I into A1 minus A2, it becomes I into I, it is minus 1. Already there is a minus 1 here. So I into A1 minus A2, it becomes A0 cos phi. Now you can substitute these two equations in the previous slide. Now on substituting the value of A1 plus A2 as A0 sine phi, and the value of I into A1 minus A2 as A0 cos phi, the equation for x can be written like this. Now take A0 outside as common factor. Now the equation becomes x is equal to e raised to minus kt A0 into sine phi cos omega t plus cos phi sin omega t. Now this term within brackets, it is actually in the form sin a plus b is equal to sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. So the term in the bracket can be written as sin omega t plus phi. So the equation for x becomes x is equal to e raised to minus kt a0 sin omega t plus phi. So this equation, it is very important. It represents the solution of a damped harmonic oscillator for the underdamped case. The third case, that is k, it is less than omega 0. So for the underdamped case, the solution becomes x is equal to e raised to minus kt a0 sin omega t plus phi. As I have said earlier, omega, which is the angular frequency of the damped harmonic oscillator, or simply called the damping frequency, it is less than omega 0, the natural angular frequency of the oscillator in the absence of any dissipative forces. And omega, it is equal to root of omega 0 square minus k square. The second point to note here, it is that the damping time period, it is large compared to the time period without damping. Here the damping time period is, it is 2 pi by omega, whereas the absence of damping, the time period is 2 pi by omega 0. So it is evident that the time period, it is the damping time period, it is large compared to the time period without damping. Now if we further analyze this equation, you can see that the motion is oscillatory since it contains the term sin omega t plus phi. So there is oscillatory motion in the underdamped case. But when you look at the amplitude part, you can see that the amplitude of the oscillations, they are not constant. It is not A0 but A0 into e raised to minus kt. That is, it is the amplitude, it is decreasing exponentially, e raised to minus kt. So it is decreasing exponentially. In the figure also, you can see that the amplitude, it is gradually decreasing. The two dotted curves that are shown here, they represent the exponential decrease e raised to minus kt. So within these two contours, the amplitude, it is changing. So with time, the amplitude, it goes on decreasing. So in the underdamped case, the damping produces two effects. First one, a decrease in angular frequency, that is omega, it is equal to root of omega 0 square minus k square, that is omega will always be less than omega 0, and then increase in time period t, it will be greater than t0. Now the second effect is that the amplitude it decreases exponentially with time. The motion it is oscillatory, but the amplitude it goes on decreasing with time in the case of a underdamped. Now consider the overdamped case where the damping constant K it is very large compared to omega 0, the natural angular frequency of the oscillator. You are familiar with this equation. It represents the solution of a damped harmonic oscillator, and in this equation instead of root of k square minus omega 0 square, you put beta, where beta it is a real quantity because root of k squared minus omega 0 square will be a real quantity since k it is much greater than omega 0. If you look at the first term on the right hand side, you can see that e raised to minus k plus beta into t. Here, since k it is much greater than beta, the first term it will be a negative exponential. That is, it will be a1 into e raised to minus some term. Also, the second term it also decreases exponentially with time. Here also you will get a negative exponential. So since both the terms on the right hand side decrease exponentially with time, we do not get any oscillatory motion in overdamped case. So in the figure, the overdamped case is represented by this curve which is decreasing exponentially with time. In the next class, we will discuss critically damped oscillations, then energy and quality factor of a damped harmonic oscillator, and problems based on it.